All right, welcome everyone. It's Monday evening, and we are working with the last chapter of Practical Work on Self. We had decided last week that we'll explore the last chapter again and come back this week. So we'll just do that. Hey, Michelle.
Those of us who are in the Sunday readings with Pat, and we are reading Shakti, the spiritual science of DNA. I think Nishant is, yes, Nishant is there. I think Mel is also there. I have found very coincidence points about this last hour of last hour of last hour of.
Life.
Sorry, I was of that. Um, so
Great. Yeah.
I yes, think the experience of near death, the thing about the stress, the panic, the fear, situations that are beyond the limits, and the awareness that these situations can or could bring is very interesting. And I pondered something in that line this morning. That's it.
Would you like to share what are the similarities and what are the things that came up that made you connect with what we've been reading?
Um, those who were there, they probably remember what I came with my anecdote, my story. Um, when I went through a 4 days, let's say, workshop with a kind of weird group called EST that brings you very near to a situation of exhaustion and panic and mostly suggestibility, looking for a kind of reprogramming.
Is this the
Uh,
Werner Erhard group?
yes, yes.
What group is
Uh,
that?
Long time ago. Very big, huge.
yes, a big. I don't know if it exists today, but it was a very powerful. But uh, the objectives of that reprogrammation were not the same as, in my opinion, those looked after EJs and this kind of work. But anyway, the experience is a tough one, and many people become, I don't know if the word enlightened, but they are changed.
Yeah, yeah, they changed.
Yes.
They were able to change, which is great.
Did you do that, David? Did you do that training?
I never did the training, but I went to them early on and they do that introductory lesson, right? They give you a big audience and they say, here's what's going to happen. And the one I went to was actually presented by Werner Erhard. So it was way at the beginning. Yeah. But I didn't do the training. I wasn't that interested in that kind of thing. There were many of them, but very popular. Yeah. So
So,
how did we get onto that again?
well, I, what I thought there is some resemblance. My English, I do my best. Some resemblance between this work and other works, and thing that has to do with the nearness of dying, the possibility of that situation, um, the blinkers. I don't know if that's the word exact. The blinkers that we are always on. We have always on blinkers. You know, is that okay? Blinkers, is it the horizontal
Blinders. It's blinder.
blinds?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That you're fantastic. I mean, your English is
No, yes,
terrific.
but I'm not fluent, very fluent. In that situation, and I think this thing with death that many people would consider some morbid, uh, has a great potential for a possibility of awareness. That's what I thought this morning after rereading this chapter. That's it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know if we had anything in mind to this, but I think we decided on coming back to this chapter. Uh, so if anyone has anything that they would like to share about the chapter, that'll be great. I find that my machine wants to avoid thinking about this. Like this is like the last thought that my machine wants to have, and I seem to kind of automatically have avoided dealing with any contents from this chapter this week.
What topic?
Maybe
What topic
uh,
is it that you're talking about?
death,
Death.
last hour of death. How my
Well,
last mo
oh, so you don't want to talk about death.
or you know
And
well I haven't thought about it the whole week. That's what I'm saying. Uh,
that's it. You were say see, it worked. By not thinking about it for a full week, you lived it. That was great. Good work.
yeah. Well, I'm alive. Here I am.
It'll probably work another week. Give it a try.
Well,
So here's a question that might not be too difficult, intrusive, looking under the hood. So let's say somebody died. Let's say somebody died or is going to die or somebody.
yeah.
What do you say to your friends about that? So and so, what word do you use? Passed away,
Uh, well,
is
if it's someone,
gone.
well, if it's someone I know personally, maybe uh, uh, I'll be I'll say someone passed away or something like that. Whereas if you just talk about random person, that you know, let's say Chuck Norris, the comedian, died this week. So I just say, oh, he died. No,
So if it's somebody you don't know, then you use the word he died.
yeah, I would be, uh, yeah,
But if you knew them, you might, what would you say?
he passed away.
Passed away. Okay. So he didn't die, he passed away.
Yeah,
It's like that that might even be a good thing, right? He passed away. It's like, yeah, that's great.
yeah.
Or
So
met
what
his
if
demise.
demise? Oh, there you go. So Bhavani says he became use that in a sentence, Bhavani. He became deceased. Let's see.
Yeah. Met his demise kind of thing.
He's no more with us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one too. Yeah.
He's no more with us. There was a I did an exercise in a group. It's just what would you tell your kids? Like if your aunt died, you know, your sister is her that person's aunt. That your child or your husband or your wife or your neighbor who knew pretty well, and then the aunt died. What would you say to your friend?
Yeah. Alka and Bernie have pretty good ones.
Okay. He exited, he passed.
I mean, if they're kids, then I'll probably say something like they're, they're up in the stars kind of thing. So,
Okay. All right. That's
Yeah.
good.
Then I think be more compassionate when they are children, sometimes dogs also, dogs, pets, mascots.
Okay, good. Pets.
Alka said they have left the body. I think that's
mm,
a pretty common one as well.
yeah. Yeah, we generally say that they've left the body, but they're still looking up on us, or they're still around us, or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic, and the whole death thing was shrouded in mystery, and you can't really talk about it, and you have to have a mass. There's a mass for so and so who died.
What did you
Oh,
say? A mess? A mess?
A mass, like a
Yeah,
Sunday mass
yeah,
for Auntie Julia who died.
yeah. We have a mass.
That's what they call the church event every Sunday. You go to mass.
David, is a word that always have question or made me think. I don't know if in English it exists. In Spanish, is defunción. It's called defunción. In English, would be something defunctioned. Is that word in English defunctioned? Defunctioned, or is it
Hang on.
defunctioned? Anyway,
No,
in
say the
Spanish
word
is
in Spanish.
defunción. And
Is it dysfunctional?
Say it again.
Dysfunctional?
defunción. But the weird thing, not so weird, the interesting thing, And defunción is dejar la función, leave the and it's like a theater. You leave the theater, and it goes perfectly because we are somehow actors in a theater. So when we die, we leave the theater
Yeah.
life, no? And in Spanish, it goes well. Defunción. He died. That guy, la defunción, and leave the theater of.
Wow.
I like the looking at the I think the etymology of words where they come. Okay, defunción. That's it. Defunción. General death. Defunción se había producido. Defunción. But in Spanish, as you see in the chat, defunción is leave the function. In theater, the function when you do a play, leave the play. That's it. In reality, leave the play, and it's play, the game, the theater play that we are all playing. So when we die, we don't play anymore. At least in this theater.
So there's some of the French. Do you want to say it out loud and then interpret it?
This is English and Spanish. I just put English.
Oh, that wasn't French?
No.
Oh.
French. If you know. French.
No, this is all Spanish.
This is for Bernie.
Where'd you get this?
And my chat box.
Oh, I see. So there's a lot of things we can say instead of.
In French, Michel, how would you say passing away or dying? What's the word in French?
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Hey, you must know, yeah. Parlez-vous français?
On dit mort, on dit morte, mort, la mort, il est mort, il est mort. Il est mort ou voilà, il est mort.
To put some comedy or tragic comedy, there is a saying that comes so many times in my mind that on death, it says, if he is a good person, death will be a release. If he's a bad person, death will be a release to the others.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so in French, passer de l'autre côté, going into the other side. Ou franchir le seuil, which means passing the threshold, yeah. There is I can say the other way, but mostly it's the same thing than in English. Yeah, the words. They also say dissolve in silence or find the rest. Yeah, we do that sometimes. Find the eternal rest. The eternal rest. Trouver le repos éternel.
Eternal rest.
Yeah.
Conflicts with the karmic wheel.
Yeah, where you come back. Yeah.
Yes, no rest.
No rest.
No rest.
And there is also going home. Yeah, going home. Rentrer chez soi. Oh, to gently fade out, s'éteindre. I'll talk to you for a second. Okay, I just have a call here, so I'll be right back.
Hmm.
Thank you.
So, I've been thinking about what I just said about my aversion to thinking about that. It reminded me of the time when my grandfather passed away when I was a kid. So I remember that day we were supposed to go to school, but in the morning, my parents just say, "Oh, you're not going to school. We are heading to our village, which is like a few hours away by drive by car." And I guess they told me that my grandfather passed away, or maybe they didn't, but I didn't process it, or I didn't know how to process it. I was a kid going to school, and then when we reached the village and we reached to my home, I saw my grandfather laying, and then everybody is just crying around them, and I didn't understand what was going on, or maybe I did, and I decided to not try to uh, understand it, and I just as a means, I just decided started having fun, or just started, just playing around in the playground, uh, as a means to process it, because I was very uncomfortable with seeing my relatives and everyone I knew in such a bad, uh, depressed state. Uh, and I just decided to, and I knew something sad has happened, and I could see it, but I guess it was uncomfortable for me, or maybe I didn't know how to react or be in that situation. So I just started acting as a kid. Maybe even maybe I was 10 at the time, but I started acting as if I was 4. And I just started playing around,
Mm.
and things like that. Something about me saying my aversion to death this week triggered that memory in my mind. So I thought I'd just share it and see what you guys
Good.
think about it.
No doubt this uh, theme moves us, want it or not, because I sense that the group is processing this
Yeah,
the thing of death, and I don't know, in other cultures, for example, Swati and Asian, India, whatever, probably they have other ways of uh, getting to know death or whatever. But we in, I think, Western culture, and mostly in Catholic Latin cultures, the death is black. You know,
Yeah.
death is something that not only we don't want to ourselves, and we don't want to anyone except our enemies, of course. But mourning, the mourning, um, and mostly women in blacks. That has lessened much, but I remember when I was a child, men used to put kind of black bracelets on the arms. It was called luto, a lute, kind
Mm.
of mourning, and lasted 1 2 months. And women, widowed, uh, um, wore black suits for sometimes many years. So now we don't give much importance to this, for good or for bad. I don't know, but these rituals have lost much importance.
It's interesting because in India, the concept of death is white. So just that comparison of black meaning the unknown and white reflecting the light, you know. So just
Mm.
the beauty of it, that, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know, of all the materials that EJ has presented our way, I find that this particular chapter, uh, I know by intuition is one of the most important ones, but it is the one that is my machine repels it the most. Like I would like to stay away from this chapter. My machine would like to stay away from this chapter, or even stay away from thinking about this chapter, which is pretty evident from observation.
And the group wants to torture you because we always say, let's read it again. And you
For,
have to pass around it.
for me, I wish to be able to read it over and over. Until I feel peace, that it's okay for me to die and to feel good, and like I want to die and feel not sad, to live. So I'm not ready, and also I want to be to feel that, yeah, I don't know how to say it, but I want to work with that chapter just so I can really embrace it, that dying is a natural process, and it's I can be okay with death, and I can be ready, because I don't feel ready, in the sense that some people say I can die anytime, I'll be fine. But me, I don't feel that. So I think I'm not free. I am not free. You know, I think it's a sign of being free to be able to die, you know, without attachment. So I think I'm far from that chapter. At the same time, I hope, I wish, I sincerely wish I can work my way through to have a peaceful death, and at peace with myself and with my children and my grandchildren. I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure it does.
Yeah, yeah.
I was wondering, David, how do you feel? Because you did workshop and you worked, and did that help you? And how do you feel now? Would you feel ready to die with your children? And did they understand it? Or like, I wouldn't want them to feel too sad, or at least I would like them to, yeah, to have an understanding. But that's okay. That's their situation. It's not mine. Yeah. But I just wonder.
Answer your question, ask your question again.
I wanted to know, David, with all the work you already did with also the Tibetan and the death and the dying, and how do you feel death to you, if it has to come anytime? How would you feel ready?
Death will come whenever it's supposed to come. One thing I'm pretty sure of, that I have no control over that moment. So, the dying process, so let's just, the regular death, okay? You're dying of something that isn't horribly painful. Okay, but you're dying, right? You're dying of old age, whatever that means. And you know you're going to die. And so you, like a friend of mine, Jody, she had multiple myeloma, and she decided not to take, she had done chemotherapy, then she did a stem cell replacement, which took care of it. Then it came back. and she decided she did not want to do chemo or stem cell. So she knew she was going to die. She lived in a community. And so her particular guru, who I got to meet, actually worked with her for about a week on it, one-on-one. I mean, there was another person there, but that was one thing. But then she just started to decline in her physical capacity. So they moved her downstairs to the kind of like the area where they did meditation and they held group meetings and things like that. And she gradually died. Now, what was going on in her mind, I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay. But she had put in a lot of work thinking about it. She had about a 3-year period where she could consider, I know I'm going to die. It was very evident. And there's a period of time where you approach that threshold and you're okay with its inevitability. Like, I have no question in my mind that you're going to die, Michelle. I don't know when. Now, so we are working with, and this is one of the, I think, the brilliant things about EJ's work is, and, a lot of people agree, but he says that we are two electrical bodies, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
The human biological machine, and within it is the essential self. By accident, and this is something I struggle with, the essential self starts to wake up, but it never wakes up, but it also is never asleep. But it becomes exposed. So it's quite timid in a sense, and it starts holding its own. So we know and we sense in our body that the essential self is our doorway to the absolute. That is what goes home. The body doesn't go home. The body becomes dust. So when I think about it, like I'm kind of really starting to get much more interested in those 5 or 6 days, assuming I'm going to have a regular death. I could just go outside to water the garden one day and I just die. Right?
So, David,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but does the way you die determines those 5, 6 days that uh, maybe you died in an accident uh, with a lot of pain? So, how does
Yeah.
that relate to the next 5, 6 days that you just
Well,
mentioned?
no. So I'm talking about kind of like an average death by, your body starts to deteriorate, and in the last 5 to 7 days, there's
Oh,
specific things that occur. Your body starts to shut down. You don't want to eat as much. You certainly don't talk. Your breath is different. You don't want fluids. and gradually your body physically shuts down, and that's called the moment of death, right? Now, so that's like kind of a theory. But if you're driving around Boulder and you get on that highway from Boulder down to
Denver.
Denver, you know, that big,
Yeah.
and you're heading down there, and there's a few crossroads as you go down that road, right?
Yeah.
And let's say, well, it's not you because we're not talking about you here, of course. Somebody's driving down that road at 70 miles an hour and they get T-boned by a semi truck. You happen to be there and you want to help. Okay. So you jump out of your car and the guy is I mean, you know, he's just in extreme pain. And some of the stories I read from the EMT people is that those people, they get to a moment where they're ready to go. They're no longer held in the illusion of the body impermanence, the body being impermanent. They begin to separate from the pain. Think about that for a minute. What is it that separates, Nikhil? What separates? So that guy that's sitting there and he asks the EMT, am I going to die? And the EMT says, yeah, you're beat up pretty bad. You're going to die. Okay. What happens with the relationship of the essential self to the body at that moment?
So I guess the essential self tries to disassociate more from the machine.
It becomes, it realizes in a sense it's on its own, you know, and maybe that's okay. What is the first full line? So, what the Tibetans say is that those first 3.5 days, blackout period, right? We still do the clear light reading and we do all that stuff. And then you come out of it into the first clear light, right? Something like that. What's the first line of the clear light prayer? Anybody?
I am the clear light of objective
No,
reality.
no.
Now I'm
Not
experiencing. Now I'm experiencing the
Now,
clear light of objective reality.
now I am experiencing the clear light of objective reality. Nothing is happening, nothing ever has happened or ever will happen. So imagine getting that instruction or understanding that. I mean, what is it? We said the other day, may I be led safely across I use the word dangerous and you use a different word.
Shocking ambush.
The shocking ambush of the labyrinth. Think about it. Right now, all our little brains are used to being in a body. This is my desk. This is my light. I stand up. I can go get my water. Right? None of that exists. Oh, I get it. Now I'm experiencing the clear light.
Was
Thus
it all a
begins the
dream?
voyage. Okay. Let's see if I can find it.
I couldn't hear you, Bernie. Did you say
Was it
something?
all a dream? Was it all a dream? I would like to share something with you now.
Here, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
Hang on. Okay, you see this?
Yes.
So this is the Tibetans, okay? This is their thing. And they're saying it's the death of the outer body. You lose these senses, right? Then there's the death of the inner body, and then there's this point of death. Then there's rebirth, the next life. So I'm referring to this process, could be 5, 6, 7, 8 days, I don't know. I can send that to you if you want. Anybody?
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to play on is the concept that we know we're going to die. I mean, that's an intellectual certainty. But what is it? And I'm going to be a little extreme here about Nikhil, which is not true, by the way, what I'm going to say, that he's avoiding even using the word. He couldn't even use the word death. What is it that couldn't use the word death? His essential self? Excuse the expression, but it doesn't give a shit one way or another about much of anything, actually. It's the ego, the machine, not being able to believe this is my existence. We read all these books about these guys saying we create the world of illusion around us, right? We read that all the time. We don't believe it though, do we?
Or we don't want to believe it.
Doesn't matter. We act as if it's not true. But when you get up out of your chair, I don't know if you're going to go get the spicy wings. I can't remember what they're called anymore.
Peri wings.
If you're going to go out and get that, or a couple of ice creams, you know. But if you are, and you leave your home, you close the door, the sliding glass door, and you walk out there, you are creating that. You're bringing it into reality. Bishop Berkeley, the great 19th century, 18th century philosopher, he says things, this is Western philosophy now. He says things only come into existence when we see them. Like, how real is the fact that there are 9 people here? Are there 9 people? Right. So I really wanted to have this meeting tonight. I really enjoy a forum where I can discuss the unknown. I don't know the answers. But I know that this is a forum of inquiry with friends and family. We've become family. It's pretty darn good. So as long as as long as the machine has control over the essential self and it can't see on its own, there's a great fear of dying because the belief is all your existence is tied up in your machine. 100% of your existence, all your ego plays, whether you're a man or a woman, you have ego plays, guaranteed. They'll just go away. Then you start to discover seeing things as they are, and that's why I keep talking about the moment of wonder. It's wonderful, filled with wonder. Everything is, I can look at this object here and just say, oh, yeah, oh, that's the book, right? Or I can hold it in my hands and I can go, oh my God, what a voyage this has been. I start thinking about all the little places that we've been to, and why do I have these papers in here? What's in there? And it becomes alive, right?
Yeah. Anytime I think about that book, the image of me uh, intentionally falling down in the middle of the hallway always comes to my mind because it's been the most embarrassing, one of the most embarrassing things that I've had to do as a part of this uh, and
Red-faced donkey, right?
red-faced donkey.
And so think about that. Of all the 24 chapters, that stuck with you because you actually committed to it. Okay. You were fully awake when you were doing that.
Yeah.
So the same thing occurs with all the other 23 chapters, by the way, buddy. Okay. Oh no.
Well, I'll start with one. One is good. One is good start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in my opinion, when you have an essential effort, it's putting one penny into what I call the essence bank. And that never gets emptied. Even though I know some people say, oh, if you do this, you lose your work. I don't think so. That's not how I think of it. So we have an enormous opportunity, but you've got to think of the bond between the essential self and the machine as very powerful. Let me give you an example. So today I went to physical therapy for my hip replacement surgery work, right? And the physical therapist said, I'm doing really good. Everything's except you favor your left leg, which is my non-surgical leg. So that means so when I stand up, you can't really see it, but if I'm standing up, I tend to go like this. Why?
pain, afraid
Hmm?
of feeling pain, afraid of yes,
Yeah.
compensation.
You trust your left leg more. They didn't
Well,
support
I
you
didn't
better.
have a surgery on the left leg either, did I? And
No.
for a year and a half, for about a year, I had extreme pain in my hip due to the arthritic decomposition of the bone. Right? Now,
Right.
so I've created a habit over a year and a half of my left leg being dependent on it. And he says, you've got to start working the muscles of your right leg. And so 5 times during the therapy session, he caught me going like this. Then I realigned. So I have a mental habit associated with all of that musculature that are might or might not be able to change. I have about 6 pages of exercises too. So we are I don't know if I want to use the word addicted is not quite right, but the essential self is in just loves the machine,
Touch.
right? And gradually they come apart and then they come together in a different manner. So am I ready to die, Michelle?
I think so.
No, I'm very, very connected to my ego. I love my ego. I spend many hours a day working on my ego. And what do I worry about? May I be led safely across the I got to change that word. What's the right word?
Ambush.
Shocking.
No,
Shocking
the
ambush.
shocking.
Ambush.
So think about it. One thing I'm convinced of when I die, I'm going to be into the labyrinth and I'm going to face the shocking ambush of the labyrinth. So my holy prayer is, can I absorb that shock? So I'm practicing that a little bit now.
Or do you practice by just saying the phrase?
No, I should have introduced something to you, Michelle. Here's a book. If you actually open it up, there are 24 specific exercises in different ways of how to begin exercising the work between the two essentials, the two electrical bodies.
Okay.
You pay attention, you be in presence.
Okay.
Don't accept something as absolutely bad and evil. Just notice it. It's huge if you can do that. And let's say that you always react if somebody says this, this, and this to you. Okay, let's just pretend for a minute.
Mhm.
Like just react.
Mhm.
And over the next 5 years, if you can see that person saying those exact same things and you just notice it objectively and don't react, how will you do when you face the ambush, the shocking ambush of the labyrinth? Maybe a little bit better, right?
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
It
Yeah.
comes
It's little by little, step by step. Yeah.
1,000 little steps.
Mhm.
As my first formal teacher said to me, he said, "This stuff is too simple for the human mind." I love that.
Yeah.
But don't
I
forget,
like that.
in the Christian mystics, Brother Lawrence, who was the least of the monks, and so they always put him on the lowest duty, which is washing all the dishes from all the other monks. And as it was expressed in his, when he found God among the soap bubbles. Can you find God among the soap bubbles? Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can.
Yeah. Sometimes, rarely, but sometimes.
Yeah.
It's beautiful when you can.
Exactly. And what does it mean? It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
like your bigger essential self is breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you see from different eye and eyes.
Well, different eyes. It's not a different eye, but does anybody remember the pond exercise? Yeah, either do I. How about work wish? Anybody? No?
Work
Me neither.
wish.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember that one.
yeah, work and the center of gravity, that's a good one.
Sensing?
S-
Forget it.
sense-
Doorways? Anybody?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Red-faced donkey. We gotta take her. Repairing the past, centrum of just if all you can do, which it doesn't seem like we're able to do very much, because everybody's very busy. Read just the table of contents.
Mm.
You're gonna go, oh my God, I remember that one. That was really important to me. I think I'm gonna read that chapter. Anyway.
Yeah, thank you. That's
EJ's done a masterful job of providing tools for the everyday worker. Okay. In a certain way, it's an advanced teaching because it doesn't start with, okay, we're going to meditate from here to here, like, they do in the Christian monasteries, and then you're only going to eat this and you're only going to eat that, da, da, da. No, this is in the world, but not of it. So, and guess what we have every Monday night?
meeting.
We have a family of friends, of co-workers to whom we can discuss and get advice and guidance from. Pretty cool, huh?
I would say very fortunate. I think very lucky to have something like that.
So it's a tool that's before us. And one of the great things that happens when someone dies is they go through their regrets. Like I wish I had bought that big Cadillac a few years ago. Really important stuff. And gosh, I wish I had dated that girl because that's too late now. And so regrets is a big thing during that process of hospice. Okay.
This
Great.
hour seems to have gone by pretty fast. I just thought it was like 8:45 local time for me, but it looks like we have just gone past it and beyond it.
Beyond. Good. Well, it's lovely to see everybody. Some people have to get to bed pretty quick, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a
So
little death going to bed. It's like a little death.
lovely to see everybody.
See you guys.
Lovely to interact.
Yeah.
Take care. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
See you
Have a
guys
great
next Monday.
week.
See you
Yeah, we
next
keep
week.
it
Bye-bye.
going next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.